everyone. Margaret Lloyd here. Happy Wednesday. Hump day, hump day. Okay, so we got to the point where I met Martin. And we met June 6th of 85. And we wound up getting married November of 86. Now, I moved into my apartment because my original apartment flooded. And as I was moving the last of my stuff in, I noticed somebody moving in next door to me, and that will wind up being Martin. And he wound up helping me with the last of the boxes that I had to move. And to thank him for helping me, I invited him to a party at a friend's house that night. We went to the party separately. We had a good time. We dated. Went out a few times. I had good times. My car broke. Front end broke out of it. It was going to cost more to fix it than it was worth. But I didn't have the capability to buy a brand new car. But he did. So he bought me a car. He bought me a Toyota Celica. Nice little car, a little sports vroom vroom. And which I appreciated. I made payments on the car. You know, he got it going, and I made the payments on the car. I wouldn't expect him to buy it for me, but eventually he did. So we got married in November of 86. We then, oh, let me back up a little bit. He proposed to me July 4th of 86 when we went down to the river, Canadian River, and we're shooting at pop cans. He said if he could put his bullet through the bullet hole that I just made, then we would get married. I said, okay. There was a 50-50 chance he wouldn't make it. Yeah, he made it. And he put a ring on the finger, and we got married. And November 26th of 86. And but before I keep backing up. It's been a long life, 40 years. You're going to get a lot of this shit. But anyway, when Betty came to visit to help me put the wedding together, she slept in Tara's bed with Tara. One night, Martin had gone out with a bunch of friends and come home. Now, my bedroom was, as soon as you walked in the front door, you just went straight through. Supposedly, my daughter told the police that he went into her room and not knowing which side of the bed she was sleeping on, he actually went to her side of the bed, supposedly, and asked her to suck his cock. Now, none of this was mentioned to me until a couple weeks later when we get a visit from the police and DHS doing a welfare check to see that my daughter is okay. Why at that point, I have no idea until they tell me. And I'm like, unequivocally, no, that did not happen. Never, not happen. Martin, never happened. I don't know how, I think maybe in hindsight, something like that may have happened, but not like that. I don't believe. But she won't tell me. She won't talk to me about it. She'll talk to Tammy. She talked to her father. She talked to the police. She talked to anybody but me. And I can't help her if she doesn't talk to me. I want to. I want my daughter. I love my daughter. But she won't talk to me about it, about any of it. And I need to talk to her before he goes to trial. She needs to realize that. But anyway, we got married. We had what I thought was a good life. Martin was transferred to Minnesota to be head inspector at Genio chicken plant in Wilmer, Minnesota. We went on a house hunting trip during that time. Tara was staying with my mother, and there was supposedly a guy going around town picking kids up at bus stops, trying to. And luckily, my daughter knew about this. She and 3 other little kids were standing at the bus stop, waiting, freezing. Guy stopped and wanted to see if they wanted to get in the car to stay warm until the bus came, which was due in about 2 or 3 minutes. Tara grabbed the kids and said, "No, we'll be fine. We're good." Luckily, a car pulls up and sees what's going on, and he leaves. She tells the lady what happened. She stays there until the bus gets there. The lady tells the bus driver what happened. Bus driver gets to school, tells Principal Katie DeFord what happened. And Katie DeFord presented Tara with a plaque for bravery, because she didn't have to do that. She could have just run and left the kids. I don't know why that popped up. I didn't ask for an ad blocker to pop up when I'm doing a video. But she was safe, and that was the important thing. I talked to her and Mom that night. They told me about it. Martin and I went cross-country skiing in Bemidji, Minnesota, after we found a place to rent. I didn't know at the time, but I was pregnant with Bo. Freeze my ass off, falling. But I was skiing. Whatever, I was having fun. And that's one thing we did. We had a lot of fun at a lot of different times of our lives. But the fun didn't cover up the bad stuff that came along later. Okay, so we moved to Minnesota. Martin and I lived there from March until May, when we went down, came down to Norman to pick up the kids. We picked Tara up because she finished out her school year where she was. And we picked Keith up because he was going to come live with us in Minnesota. So we did that, and we got the kids. Martin got a bit testy because Tara wasn't moving as quickly as he wanted to get the Jeep loaded, and I won't say accidentally anymore because he did it. He slammed the tailgate on her head, and it was wrong. And I told him it was wrong, and Shasha told him it was wrong. But he didn't care because he didn't care about us. Even though he said he did, but he didn't. But anyway, kids came to school, came to Minnesota, went to school. Tara was on the swim team. Keith was on the swim team, but not Martin's swim team because Keith was too little. Martin was a swim coach of the junior high kids. And there's sometimes that I wonder if things didn't happen on swim meets that I wasn't told about, but I have a feeling did happen. And it scares the crap out of me because she won't talk to me about it. But anyway, that was my number one parent fail. I have a lot of parent fails, and you'll hear about them, and I admit to them. I failed my daughter in that respect. We then, when that was in 88, when we moved there, and we moved there in 87, and then the kids moved up there in 88, summer of 88. And they went to school there for 2 years. Then we moved to Royal Oak, Michigan. We went from a town of 5,000 people to an area with millions of people, and not good people, because it was in the Detroit area. We lived on 14 Mile Road. Nice little 3-bedroom house, ranch. And we lived there. Both started kindergarten. And in February, we were transferred to Virginia. Kids did not like that. Kids did not like that. But we went. We did it. Worst mistake. Never shoulda. Never shoulda. Shoulda stayed in Detroit. But we stayed there for a year in Virginia. Then we moved back to the Detroit area, lived in Rochester Hills. We lived there for a year. And in 80, would have been 96. We moved to Des Moines, Iowa. Actually lived in Urbandale. We lived there for 7 years. The sexual thing started in Rochester. He decided that he wanted me to be his call girl. And I had his pager. And he would page me. when he was coming home so I could be ready for him. And that worked for about 2 months. Then he decides, this was when internet started big with websites and AOL and Google and all this good stuff. So anyway, he found somebody that wanted to do a threesome. He got me drunk. He said, let's go over to this guy's house. We're going to go go to a party. Okay. What did I think? I didn't. So we were, on our way over there drinking. I was drinking as we were on our way over there. And we got there. Guy had a couple of kitty cats, and I was petting the kitty cats as Martin was pulling my pants down and showing my boobs off and showing my pussy off and telling this guy what he wants me to do. He wants the guy to sit down on the couch, and then I'll get down on my hands and knees and suck his cock, and then Martin will come in from behind. Yeah. So we had us a little threesome. Was not thrilled with it. In fact, on the way home from the little threesome, I got to destroy his Toyota Camry by vomiting in it. I vomited up cum and liquor. Just the thought of doing it irks me. What I did, it just makes me so angry. Then we did that one, and then about once a month he'd find somebody that either come over to the house or to the apartment, or we'd go to their place. And I didn't like it. I didn't want to do it. But at that point, he was threatening to take Bo and Tara away from me. I knew he couldn't take Tara away from me, but I knew he could take Bo. I had to do what he wanted. I didn't want to lose my son. I knew I'd still have Tara, but I did not want to lose my son. So I did what he wanted me to do. And then when we moved to Iowa, I thought, well, maybe this will end because I'm going to get me a really good job. And it'll get this sex fiend shit off his mind. Didn't work. He now has guys coming over to pay me for sex. Not anything I wanted. The money was mine, but I didn't care. It wasn't something I wanted to do. I didn't want to be fucking guys. That's just gross. I'm married. I married the man I loved to be with him forever. Till the day we die. Sit on a porch, sitting in a rocking chair. Buy those rocking chairs from not Golden Corral, but you know what I mean. Cracker Barrel. He has so screwed up my mind that I have trouble thinking. I have trouble knowing what's right and what's wrong. Well, I know what's right and what's wrong, but when to do what's right and what's wrong. It's just, he got me so confused. And I didn't deserve to be so confused. Okay, so we moved from there No, I got to go back to Virginia. When we decided to move from Virginia to back to Michigan, my daughter left. I woke up in the middle of the night to a note that I'm leaving. I can't take it anymore. I'm not moving anymore. This is my last move. I'm not moving anymore. Leave me alone, Mom. And she took my credit card. So we had to stop that. We knew where she went. We knew she'd go to Holiday Inn because we knew the concierge. And sure enough, she did. And we found her. We stopped the credit card. She had to pay for her room, which was on the concierge floor, which, those are not cheap rooms. Those are your suites. So she had to pay for that. And her father picked her up the next day and took her to Cincinnati. In cleaning her room, as we were cleaning everything up to move, what do I find under her bed but used condoms? Oh, just what Mommy wants to find. Where'd those come from? Who do I have to ask? Nobody, because she's not there. She's gone. So I do call her at her father's and ask her why she did that, why she left those. And she said they weren't hers. Bullshit. Who else is fucking down there? She was the only one with a room in the basement in her own entryway. Well, I think I know who did it, but I have no way of proving it. So we then moved to Rochester, and he does all that stuff, and then we moved to Iowa, and he keeps on keeping on, bringing guys over when kids are out of school or in school. And it just, I really hated it. I hated it. And I thought for sure when we got to Maryland that it would never happen again, that I would be able to put a stop to it. But I didn't. So it happened in Maryland. And then when we came to Texas, I thought for sure this is going to work. This is because Mom's living with us. He's not going to have me fucking people with Mom in the house. Oh no. Bet he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He did. And he had me on camera. He had me on strip chat. Fucking guys. Sucking guys. Doing whatever guys. I hated it. But again, he threatened to take everything away from me. I felt like I couldn't get away. I didn't have a job with insurance. The insurance that I'm diabetic. The insurance I have came from his job. It wasn't until now that I have my own insurance through Medicare. I could not stand to do it anymore. I just couldn't. I had to figure out a way out. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew. So we'd been talking. I had talked to him. I had told him, I'd been telling him the whole time we were in Texas that I did not want to do this. I wanted to stop. You know, and he would say, okay, you can stop when you turn 66. You can stop when you turn, you can stop when you... And it just kept going on and on and on and on and on and on. So tomorrow, I will tell you how I stopped it. In the meantime, peace and love each other. Have a wonderful day. Okay.